Nestle, Southwest Airlines, L'Oreal. They're just some of the global companies who've turned to Robert Bloom to build their brands and ultimately turn them into household names. He was the longtime CEO of the advertising behemoth Publicis Worldwide and has been creating growth strategies for large and small businesses for 45 years. Bob's approach begins with one simple principle. Find a company's inside advantage, its hidden potential, then capitalise on it. I caught up with Bob Bloom on his recent trip to Australia.
I had a eureka moment that I talk about in the book that was a one-of learning process. When I went out of college. It was 2 years in the Navy, and I came out of the Navy. I was an officer in a destroyer escort, and I came back, and I didn't know anything about advertising. My father had started a little advertising agency, so I went to work for him. And about 6 months into it, he said to me, Neiman Marcus was a big client of ours, a big fashion worldwide. And then they had one store in Dallas, Texas, and only one. And he said, take this over to Stanley Marcus and get his approval of this ad. And I was frightened to death. I took this ad into this iconic merchant and genius and so forth. And he was considerably older than I was. And I showed him this ad, and I was praying that he didn't ask me anything about the ad because I didn't know anything about ads. And he looked at the ad and he said, it's good. But right under the logo is our address. It said Neiman Marcus, Main and Irving Street, Dallas, Texas. At that time they had one store, not stores all around the world. And he said, I'd like you to take the address off of the ad. And here was that moment. Here was somebody who knew his customers so well that he knew that his customers wanted to feel exclusive, and they didn't want to have anyone know where Neiman Marcus was that they didn't want to be associated with. So he was saying, when you're Neiman Marcus, you don't have to tell people where you are. And so that idea of someone making it different, someone understanding his customer, and someone taking the address off because he understood his customer, to me opened a whole floodgate of things that you could do to make yourself different and to be different. Most people in business try to say, oh, my competitors are doing that. That's what I should be doing. And that's not the way you should think. The way you should think is, I have something in my business that's inside it. Usually it's hidden. Usually it's underutilized or undiscovered. But every business has something inside it that can be discovered, nurtured, make it better, bigger, stronger, and then you want to be well known for that. Makes your business yours and not somebody else's. You don't want to smell, taste, and look like anyone else. You want to smell, taste, and look like yourself.
What makes it so revolutionary, though?
What makes it revolutionary is quite simple, and that is it's simple. There are only 4 steps to it. Most business books make things complex with lots of schematics and charts and things to fill in and that sort of thing. And the truth is, people then don't do it because it's complex. I mean, they're attracted to it because it sounds like it's really good, because complexity kind of sounds cool, right? I mean, it's got to do all these things. So I tried to do the reverse. I tried to say, how can I help people who are struggling, especially in this economy? How can I help them grow their business? Because if you don't grow your business in today's economy, like in all economies, but particularly today, you won't be here tomorrow. You have to keep growing and managing your costs, or in fact, if you don't grow, you'll die.
You talk about 4 steps, essentially, the growth discovery process. So tell us a bit about it.
I start with a customer. Customer is the most important word in the business vocabulary. The most important word. Because customer is a person, not people. It's a human being. And why do you have to know that person as a human being? And I insist that people define their customer, singular, in less than 15 words. It's very hard to do. Looks easy, but in 15 words. Like I was talking to you earlier about this L'Oreal, was a client of mine. We help women look and feel beautiful. It's like 6 words. And once you define your customer in a very few words, so it's clear and simple, then you can know him or her as a human being. So the second step is, what's your uncommon offering? What are you going to sell that customer that he or she wants? They have needs, wants, desires, aspirations. So people say to me, why not unique offering? I said, well, because you can spend the rest of your life looking for something unique. You don't need something unique. In fact, you don't want it because they can be made anywhere cheaper, maybe, and you could be out of business, or or technology could make it obsolete. So you want something that's uncommon. That's the second step, an uncommon offering. And the third is how. How do you sell what? Your uncommon offering to who? Your customer. How do you differentiate yourself? How do you make yourself different? Versus, and this is something that I think people don't think of, versus everyone else, every competitor. And then finally, how do you become well known for it? Let me give an illustration of a client that we had for a long time, BMW. They define their customer as someone who wants a driving experience. Not just they don't want a car, they want a driving experience. And what they offer their customer is a real driving experience. And I had a German executive say to us, look, we could make the car quieter, we could make it shift easier, but we don't do that. We make cars for people who want a real experience in driving. So they have a very clear understanding, and that's what they're well known for. So if you say to you, well, why did you buy a BMW? God, is it wonderful. It gives you a great driving experience. So that's what you want to be well known for, is what your uncommon offering is, and make sure that that's what your customer wants.
How difficult is it for a company to find that inside advantage? How deep do you have to dig?
You have to dig very deep. And while my process is very simple, it's 4 steps, you can't confuse simple with easy. It's hard work because you have to look for it. And you have to start with the conviction that it's there. There is something. Every business that I've ever worked on has an inside advantage. Finding that, nurturing it, making it better, different than competition is what you have to do. But it is very hard work. And what you want to do is gather your group around your chief executives, or maybe just you and your partner, and close the doors and work on it. And make a list of all the potential things on this sheet of paper, big chart. And instead of saying, oh, that's it, keep going, keep going, keep going, and finding more options. And suddenly one will appear and say, that's it.
Coming up, the book's